States the Trophy of Grace, this award by the Free Grace Alliance is presented to James Varner Knapp Clark for his lifetime ministry of sharing the gospel of grace graciously. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm Susan Knapp's favorite daughter, oldest and favorite. My dad definitely had a passion for sharing the love of Jesus Christ and presenting the gospel in a clear and precise manner so that anybody could understand. Just as my own little story, I don't remember what I did yesterday, but when I was 5, my dad took me to Thomas's department store in downtown Starkville, Mississippi, and he was doing some shopping, and unbeknownst to him, I was doing some shopping as well, and putting some bling earrings in my pocket. I knew it was wrong, but I did it anyway because I wanted to have some earrings. So I took them home, put them in my Barbie case, in my closet, and played with them for about a week. And then I got caught. And I had the humiliation of going to Thomas's department store and having to confront them, who were our friends, and tell them what I had done. And then, now this was the early 70s, my dad took me to the county jail, and he had the deputy lock me up in the cell for maybe 3 minutes. But it was the longest 3 minutes of my life, and I had the opportunity to ponder the consequences of what I had done. And I also had the opportunity to have that grace of the deputy putting the key in the door and opening it and letting me out. And it was that easy, I just had to step out. So I'm pretty sure I got saved in that jail cell in 3 minutes. I wouldn't realize this till later in my life, but anyway, he definitely had a way of sharing grace, even with his family. To be candid, it wasn't always easy to share my dad with everybody, but in hindsight, looking back at the legacy, I can see that it was so worth it. And if I were talking for my dad right now, I would say this is all the glory of God.
You know, I thought the favorite status battle ended when Dad went home to be with the Lord. And it culminated at the point where I had taken a container of watermelon and put it in his casket. And that was his favorite food. But my sister will not concede this point. So I still say I'm the favorite. And the battle continues to this day. And I can wrap up what Susan is saying in one word: absolutely. That may be a quote from Davy Forrest, or maybe my father at one point in time. When I reflect on my childhood experiences, one of my favorite things to do with my dad was to ride on his motorcycle. I would sit on the gas tank, and there was this one day where we were riding along and he stopped at a stop sign. And I woke up and I was like, "Dad, you wrecked me, Daddy, you wrecked me." And then as I reflect on that experience, I think about how much trust I had to have in my father, who I just trusted him because I had fallen asleep while the motorcycle was in motion. And so, you know, when Holly was talking earlier, she was talking about the secure attachment, and that really is similar to trust. And so when I think about we are in God's hands and He is in control, and so we just have to trust Him. And even though I didn't know, there's no way that my dad would have ever let me go, I just needed to trust Him. And similarly, we need to trust God and just be in His hands. When I fast forward onto the teenage and young adult years, I think about my father as with his big napper hugs. And he really just would hug and love on everybody, and that was a comfort to you. And it was really a Christ-like behavior of just the love that Christ has for us. And then when I fast forward into my adulthood, I think about the legacy that he left behind and the profound impact that it had on my life. And that profound impact for me personally is to have a positive impact on the lives of others that I touch. And it goes back to my grandmother's motto of blossom where you're planted. And so when I reflect on my dad's legacy that he left behind, Holly and Kenny both have talked about the camp that he started over 55 years ago that has impacted the youth, also counselors and mentors and numerous people throughout those years. And then also the 2 circles that he used as a special presentation for the gospel that Kenny has developed into the 2 circles ministry. Susan talked about how all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, and when we put our faith in him, then we're placed into the family of God, that big circle, and then also into the smaller circle of the fellowship of God. Dad would say 2 fellows in a boat. So he lived his life to the best of his ability in that boat with Christ. And so if he was here today with us, he would also say this, thank you for this recognition, and I'm honored to be here with you today, and it is all for the glory of God. Thank you.